Kendra Kent here with us, bringing us a look at that severe weather.
Yeah, I hate to report that, but it does look like we could see severe weather again. The tornado threat is not high, but it's not zero once again. So we could have individual storms that begin to rotate among a line that moves through for your Wednesday evening. Timing is really 6 p.m. to about midnight. We'll be looking at the threat for damaging wind, maybe even a tornado possible as that line moves through. Now, this timing's gotten a little bit later than we had previously looked at. We were thinking more late afternoon, early evening, but the models have slowed this down, and it looks like the worst is going to be across northeast Georgia. You can see that's where the slight risk remains to our south and west, Atlanta, Birmingham, Montgomery, and that goes all the way up to our northeast Georgia counties. So the worst of the weather expected just to our southwest, but some of that could be still pretty strong as it approaches upstate areas. We'll really have to watch out in our western sections as the right ingredients could come together for isolated tornadoes and certainly a more widespread damaging wind threat. Now we're taking a look at Fox Radar 3D currently, and it is clear, looking for a potential tornado outbreak to our west for areas in eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas. What you're seeing in Louisiana, that's not the main event. The storms really haven't fired up yet, but are expected to become very strong later on tonight, and then we'll get a taste of that as we head toward tomorrow. But right now it is gorgeous, mostly sunny skies, and tonight won't be as cold. We'll have temps in the mid-50s with that south wind starting to pump in a little bit of moisture ahead of this system, and we'll be looking at right around 50 degrees in western North Carolina. Now I want to pitch it over to meteorologist Ben Dornbach for team coverage of this impending severe weather threat. And threats do look, a tornado is part of this. It's not the biggest threat tomorrow, but something we've got to watch, Ben.
Absolutely right, Kendra. Our main threat with this system, as we break down the threats in each possibility, the main threat with this system is going to be damaging straight line winds. So you see that's at the moderate level, but everything else a little bit closer to the lower end. So if we take a look, the next thing in line would be flooding, mainly flash flooding, just because this system is likely going to move through at a pretty decent rate of speed. So I'm really not anticipating heavy rain centered over one specific area for a long period of time. Not really anticipating that, but rainfall rates will be high. So flash flooding certainly not out of the question. Notice we have a lower end tornado threat isolated, but still it is there, and it would be most likely in our northeast Georgia counties that Kendra was just talking about, as we really just don't have the wind shear profile to support that. But just to show you our tornado risk level, this takes into account several parameters, including wind shear and things like that. Notice that those orange shaded areas in our westernmost areas, so northeast Georgia, west to places like Oconee and Rabun County, possibly into the southwesternmost part of North Carolina. So that's where the tornadoes would most likely form, but the overall risk is still on the lower side. As I mentioned, flooding is also a concern, but as you can see, these rain totals really aren't that crazy. Through Thursday morning, this model is predicting about 1 to 3 inches of rain, so I'm thinking some isolated spots, especially in the southern mountains, could very well get close to 3 inches, which could cause some potential debris flow, but river flooding, probably not a widespread problem with this issue. Some limiting factors also include low-level wind shear. Our heat and humidity will be minimal, but not zero, and the low centered to this storm is going to be well to our north, not really a big source of Gulf moisture as we see with those other systems.